Good evening, everybody. So I talked about a prepper's kit, bug out bag, and all that, and kind of what you would need. And I said I'd do a video on kind of the basics. I'm not going to show you everything I got. I just don't want anybody to really know what I got in here. But I'm trying to get the word out there for people who are still kind of far behind and stuff. And we'll do a little bit on a ghillie suit today too. So. You're first and foremost, I mean, really, you're going to want to have a way to carry water. So you get a really nice water bottle, something that'll carry water. I also have a Camelback in that pack there, and then my load bearing vest over here has the ability to carry a Camelback as well. That's besides my plate carrier and all that. There's a few little things that I think could really help some people out here. You got to think, this is shit hits the fan. Your cell phone may not work. You don't know, and you're trying to get the heck out of Dodge. Maybe you're trying to get away from some natural disaster. Yeah, I don't know where. We all have our own scenarios, but here's one thing nobody ever thinks about is maps. And yes, they add a little bit of weight. That's like a good pound there. But really, you know what? This right here covers the entire United States for me. It does. I have like 3 state maps, and in my routes I have different maps that I can really concentrate in on zones. Most of these are road maps, but I do have topographical maps as well. And I'm not going to go into tope maps because if you don't know how to use one, you shouldn't be trying at the last minute. Road map will help you. You just stay away from the main roads, because if it's shit that hits the fan, you don't want to be caught out there by yourself. Okay, that's a good one, and I don't see a lot of people covering that. Maps is a very important thing. I'd also suggest getting some navigation training, night nav. Learning how to shoot azimuths and following stars and different natural ways of finding your way, even when it's cloudy. I mean, there is ways of doing it. Knowing your weather patterns is a big thing too. It's like where I live, the clouds are always blowing towards the east, so you're gonna have that. That would give me something, but I also know my areas, and that's another big thing. If you're going to be bugging out and taking off somewhere, get up there and know the area. Hike around, do some practice runs, because it's only going to help you stay healthy. You're going to have a fun day doing it. You can take the kids out, that kind of thing. Another big one that I don't see a lot of people talk about is I'm covering basics here that people don't normally talk about. I mean, of course, you're going to want medical, food, and all that. And yes, I have a big medical pack here, and I'll kind of go over this in a minute. This separates from the back of that. This is all MOLLE gear, so you can strap it on really easy. You can attach on extra components if you want, and I do have quite a few more. I just don't have them out here. I mean, I just don't want... You got to build your own setup, that's basically it. But you got binoculars. Binoculars you can get really easy, really cheap. They don't have to be anything special. I think I got these for 15 bucks at an Army surplus store. They're compact, they work great, and they'll make it to where I can see a good distance away. Another one, an E-tool, an entrenching tool. This is a military shovel. It works good as you can kind of saw at things with it, I mean, if you can use these like a pickaxe. They work really well. You can dig yourself a shelter. You can do things with this that you can't do with other tools, so and then of course everybody has their multi-tool. I actually have a few. I have this little tiny one here. I have my regular Gerber Flick, and I really like the Gerber Flick. The Gerber Flick is amazing. That is a good tool. And then you also want a flashlight, of course. I would recommend getting one of these. It's LED. They tend to last a lot longer, and you can run it off of one AAA battery. You just fill the other little sections up inside with foil. I'll kind of show this to you. It takes 3 AAA batteries, which I do have extra batteries in my pack. but you can take 2 of these out. If you take a piece of foil and stick it in there, this thing will still be very bright if you do that. So, I mean, if you're down to 1 battery or you want to conserve batteries, it's going to be really good for you to kind of have this thing on you, you know, something that's doesn't use a lot of voltage. It's going to last a long time. An LED flashlight is just it. And you don't want anything big and bulky either, like a mag light. Yeah, mag light's cool. They're great. They last through anything. You can even use it as a weapon. A good combat knife. Now, this isn't a good one. I'm going to tell you right now, this is a cheap one. This is actually one that I've taped the handle up for grip because the handle kind of sucked. But believe it or not, I actually throw this knife all the time. And it's absolutely like one of the best throwing knives I've ever had. And this is just a cheapo little Walmart brand, you know, it's stainless, made in China, whatever. But a good stainless blade, it's not going to rust out on you. And if you're out getting in the water and all that, and it's going to hold its edge too. This is a high carbon stainless, so this is going to hold, it holds an edge really good actually. I was really surprised with this knife. It was like 15, 20 bucks, but I bought it like 10 years ago. So who knows, Walmart's quality is, they're just crap, you know. You may end up with something good, but you never know. I just kind of lucked out with this one. It was just something I liked the way it was designed, and I was going to be making another one. I do have a K-Bar. It's made by Cutco. They're about the best knife brand you can get. It's guaranteed for life, but I keep that in my car. So this one's on my bag. That way, you know, I keep something everywhere. You want to keep stocked up. Something to cover your face. You know, if you're in bug out scenario, I've talked about this on another video, but you need camouflage. Camouflage is very important. If you're out there and you're running around, excuse me, you don't want to get caught off guard, and you don't want to get seen, really. I mean, that's my main thing. I would rather avoid confrontation at all costs, and that is the main scenario. You should just be avoiding confrontation. Camouflage will help you do that. So a good black hood for nighttime. If you're dark skinned, you may not need it, but you can see my skin's really pale, so that I kind of need for night. And I have blonde hair too, so that doesn't help either. Here's something that I just kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit of. I just kind of whipped these together. This here is actually in my bag. This is a pocket reference guide. This has everything about everything. It has survival tips in it. It shows how to build little things. It shows everything. It has everything from differential equations on what plants you can eat and what you can't eat and all that kind of stuff, how to build little traps. These are great. If you can find one of these, I got this at my local True Value. You can see it's marked on there, but you can order these things. It's the Thomas J. Glover Pocket Ref. These are fantastic. Get one. I recommend it. But my main point here is, like, I got my matches here. These aren't waterproof matches, but when I was in the Marines, the one thing we always did, we took everything and we wrap it in plastic, and then you put a piece of tape around it. All this stuff will now resist water, and when you do this to everything in your pack, it actually makes that giant heavy backpack and everything in it float. So you can actually use it as a flotation device later on. You know, I got the little chapstick in here, some aspirins, and then I got some more matches in here, and I think I even got some aspirin. Yeah. So I try to keep little things like that around, you know. I mean, I don't take these like Tylenol and aspirin very often, but if somebody gets a fever or something and you're out there in the middle of nowhere, that'll save your life. There are plants you can do too, but I mean, this is a lot quicker than trying to find a plant, you know. Here's something that a lot of people wouldn't even think about. And this is something that it just seems really weird. It's just a white piece of cloth. What is your international sign for I'm coming in peace? We're not here to fight. It's a white flag. Now, a lot of people think it's a sign of surrendering. Yes, it is. If you're in the middle of a fight and you wave a white flag, it means you're done. But the white flag signifies that you don't want to fight them. You're coming in peace. So, I mean, this could come in real handy. Like, say you get hurt out there and everything's just turned into a apocalypse scenario. That could be a good thing. And you may not have a white t-shirt with you. So I just keep a little one in there. Just, it doesn't take up hardly any room. It folds around everything else. It's good. Then I found this. This stuff's fantastic. This is Gorilla Tape. Strongest duck style tape ever. Well, you can get a little roll like this for like $2 now. It's a little skinny roll. It's not the big thick roll, but it's it's got a lot of yardage on it too. So you never know when you're going to need some duct tape. You know, that stuff can help you make tools. It can help you get your shelter together. Also, paracord. You get yourself some good 550 cord, and that's real cheap too. You know, a lot of people already have that stuff with them. As far as your water bottle, this one's metal, and it's got it's basically got itself a good seal on here. You can drop it. It's not going to break, you know. It's not going to get a hole crunched in it. If you step on it, it's not such a big deal, but it's going to hold you up pretty good. But then, like I said, I got this load-bearing vest back here. This thing, it's got pockets all over it. You got pockets in the back. You got them in the front. You're going to be able to carry things. And let's say you're out there in the woods, and a plate carrier can do the same thing. It's just the plate carrier I have at the moment doesn't have MOLLE set up on it. It's just, basically, I'd wear my plate carrier, and it's just a little couple of pouches front and back and on the sides that this just kind of fits right over the top, you know. So this right now is what I'm stuck with. But you know, you got your magazine pouches over here, which light's horrible, sorry, but there you go, magazine pouches, all that, more pockets, and it has space for a Camelback in the back of it too. But I keep all this stuff out here right now. I keep that in the load-bearing vest. And I have pretty much the same stuff in that pack too. There's more in there, but let's say you're out in the woods and you're with a group and you're trying to get the heck out of somewhere, or some disaster happened and you had to get out of your town. Well, you don't want to carry everything with you all the time, but you want essentials with you. A load-bearing vest covers that. This is good kind of day pack thing set up. You know, you don't have your extra clothes in here, but that's not always a necessity for extra clothes. You know, it depends on where you're at. I do have an extra set of clothes in there. I have like cold weather gear in there too, you know, so, and it's all rolled up real tightly, wrapped in plastic, and then taped off, so that whole thing acts like a flotation device. It'll keep everything dry, you know, so if you get wet and you need to change your clothes, boom, you're done. The one thing I do like about MOLLE setups is the fact that you can take these things off. You know, this is a medical kit, and this is a very simple one that I've set up, but I want everybody to kind of see how you do this kind of thing. And with a medical kit, now this is the Sawyer, it's like a Life straw. It's a little mini water filter, and basically it backwashes. There it is right there. This thing's amazing. I've used it many times already. I keep the little pack with me just because I have a lot of friends who want to know what it is, so I show them, and they show them how it works and all that. But this thing will keep you in water. You can, and just to keep the thing from getting clogged up, you can screen your water out with like a sock or something, or a piece of t-shirt, I don't know, whatever you want to do. But it also has the ability to backwash the filter so you can clean it out and continue to use it. So that is a fantastic setup. But as you can see in here, I mean, I've got I've got all my surgical pads. I've got down in the bottom. I have suture packs. I have everything. I've got ace bandages, emergency blankets. Here's one that a lot of people don't think of: vitamin C. When you're out there in the middle of nowhere, and if you don't know what types of plants you can eat, which for vitamin C, dandelion greens is probably your most wild plant, plentiful in my area anyways, so you can eat those. That's perfectly fine. They actually put them in salads now. But vitamin C is very important, because if you don't get vitamin C, you get scurvy, and we've all heard pirates talking about that and all that. Well, I've got iodine, I've got hydrogen peroxide, I've got some extra warm socks in there, I've got other medical stuff in here too. I've got antibiotics in here, I've got suture kits, like I said. I have pretty much everything in here, and I was an EMT before I kind of started off in other careers, but I did EMT for quite a while. So in an emergency medical situation, I can patch somebody up and get them where they need to be, you know. In a shit hits the fan scenario, honestly, if you got wounded in the chest, you're almost screwed. You know, a sucking chest wound, yeah, you can do the occlusive bandage, and you can get in there and leave that corner valve part open, you know, and you're good. And that can actually last for quite a while. But it all comes down to if it's not a lucky shot, if you get hit in the upper torso at all, the gut, if you get shot in the gut or something happens to your gut, stabbed, you land on an object, anything like that, anything to your central core body, you're probably going to be screwed. So mainly this is going to be for external type wounds. Let's say I get a big deep cut on my arm, on the leg, or something like that, and the suture kits will help me to where I can get myself at least sewn up, and you know, that way I can get somewhere, and maybe in a more clean environment, a safer environment where I can heal up. You know, that's kind of my goal with this. But you know, me being the medical type, I'm going to grab absolutely everything I can. I mean, even I've got antibiotics in here and absolutely everything I think I would need in an emergency medical situation. And of course, the antibiotics and the other types of pills and the painkillers and stuff, like the Tylenol, you know, and like myself, I'm allergic to opioids, so I can't take any of those. I've got my Tylenol, my Aleve, and that's about it. Other than that, you know, it all has to do with keeping yourself, your body clean and everything good with you. So this right here, I would really suggest. This pouch size is almost perfect. You could even do this for your car. I mean, this bag here cost me, I think it was like $20 at the surplus store, and it was brand new. You know, the one I go to, they give you can buy all brand new stuff. You can buy the surplus, but this stuff here, it's just absolutely amazing. You can attach it onto your packs, and you have this with you. You know, you can take it off if you need to and just run up to somebody, and it doesn't take very long to take this off. It's just you pull these 4 straps out there from the loops, which you interweave in between these loops here, if that's where you're putting it, but that's my closest reference. And then you just take off with this pack, you know, you're good. So that was my main goal with that. I wanted my medical to be kind of separate but inclusive, and having the MOLLE system really works for that. So I think that a big thing that people tend to think about when they look at MOLLE gear, they're like, ooh, tactical, cool, yeah. Well, then, yeah. That's one cool example of keeping your ammo. You know, you can fit a 12 gauge shotgun shell in those loops pretty much perfectly. You can't fit a 10. You can't fit a 20. It has to be a 12 gauge. That's it. So that was just something cool. It's where I keep these. I don't have any pouches for this side right now, so I just said, screw it. That's fine. You know, and then when you pop these things out, it kind of cleans them off a little bit, you know, whatever. It's all cool. Now here, this looks like a matted wad of burlap and threads and all that. This is actually a ghillie suit, and I'll kind of spread this out for a second. Here, I'm gonna take a second and open this. Okay, so ghillie suit. Ghillie was developed by the Scottish long ago. If you know Scotland pictures at all, if anybody's who's seen Braveheart, they know it's a bunch of grassland, rocks, and hills for the most part. There is big forests there, but when you're out in grassland, what are you going to hide behind? You don't have anything. You have to lay in the ground, but even then you can be seen. So the Scottish developed a way of using the grass of the land and the fibers of the reeds and stuff to kind of weave together, and they build these big bush suits, and that's what a ghillie suit is. It's just a way of taking the environment around you and blending it into you. Well, burlap has a really good way of just having everything stick to it, especially dry weeds and stuff. But I will say this. This is very specific. Ghillie is very specific to wherever you're going to be. If you're going to be in an environment that is mostly snow and trees, you're going to want grays and whites. You're not going to want browns, and this is all brown. This is set up for desert and kind of autumn, fall, mountainous country, you know, but I'm in California, you know, so I got the Sierra Nevadas right here, and then I've got the Mojave Desert, and, you know, so that's what I got. But basically, what we have here, if I can get it undone, as you can see here, I'll lay it out over the top of everything else. It's just one, you get this netting here, and then you weave these things into it. You tie a bunch of this stuff on. Ghillie is pretty much the act of tying and attaching. So you're going to have all these threads hanging down everywhere. Well, when you're laying in a bush somewhere, people can't see you. You know, if you're laying on the ground and I had this thing over the top of me, people couldn't see me. They wouldn't see me out in the desert in this, especially after I put some brush into it. And that's the whole point. You want to take this, and I'll do a whole extensive video on it, but this is just kind of the basics. And you can get these kind of materials most places. You can get this is actual commercial fish netting, and then I have the rest is just burlap. I have a piece set up for absolutely everything. I have a hood. This one is not complete yet. I actually need to do my legs and stuff still, and this is still kind of tangled. This thing expands out to about a 6 foot by 6 foot piece, which it doesn't seem like it right here, but here, let me take a step back. You can kind of see it there. See? And if you're looking at making a ghillie suit, which I recommend, it's kind of fun, you know, and I had my kids join in with me because they're really into all the stuff I was when I was a kid, like the G.I. Joes and stuff. We don't really have them anymore, but that's the way it is. And then I take it and I kind of take this big old piece of burlap here, which I keep with me just because when you have burlap like this, you can always cut more strips. But I take my whole unit here, which if I can do this without knocking anything off, and it all kind of balls up, and this will go inside here just like that, and then you just kind of roll it up, and then you have your little strap it around it, and then just have it on your pack somewhere. And I'm really not joking about that. I think camouflage is the most important thing. If you look at the military, they don't go running out there in just olive green anymore like that color there. They're all camoed up. They got the digital camo now, which the only thing digital camo, yeah, it breaks up the pattern. And that's really what it is. The only thing I can say about any kind of camouflage is if you're out there using your hunting camo with the orange, that's just retarded. Don't do that. Please, don't do that. You're going to get shot or something, or somebody's going to see you. And in a shit hits the fan scenario, if you're actually bugging out, I mean, who knows? We could be talking like Mad Max Road Warrior status, where there's going to be groups of people out there who kind of band together just to kind of take over little areas. They're going to try and be the boss of areas, and I'm sure that like drug cartels and all that will do that. They already have guns. They already have all this stuff. So you want to hide from these people. You don't want to be seen by them. Why would I want to be seen? I wouldn't, unless I want somebody to see me. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be noticed. I want to be the one to see them first, and that's the biggest thing. In the pack, I keep 2.5 weeks of food, and this is all dehydrated. It's ready to go. It's a little bit better than the military MREs that we got when I was in. You know, that stuff's much better. So. It compacts more. I can roll it up really better. I don't have to break it down like I did the MREs back in the day. So I've gone to this dehydrated. You can get it in any store. It's for like Big Five. You know, it's just hiking food, and it's very small, very very lightweight. That's the other thing too. If you get the MRE stuff, you're gonna have to worry about that. But I also keep besides those meals, which is 2 weeks worth of food, I also keep 2 cups worth of rice in there. I've got some seasonings and stuff too, you know, and it's just natural herbs that are actually really good for you, and they help you fight certain things. I have chilies in there, you know, dried chilies. Everything is dried, dehydrated, and that's really where you want to go with it. I have beef jerky in there, everything. And I go through that once a year, and I make sure that all my food is good. I make sure nothing's got into there, because this is not a pack you want to be using all the time. You don't, unless you're going out on a hike or something. And if you're going to go out on a hike and use your bug out gear just to kind of feel the weight of it and kind of see how it's going, you want to make sure that you have extra food for that. Just so that you're not eating your supply, or take your food out or something, and or make sure you have extra food already backed up for that purpose. Like, say I'm going on a hike this summer, and I will be taking all this gear, and a little bit more too, just to kind of make sure that I kind of know my feel of the packs and stuff. And I haven't hiked with that plate carrier on yet, which doesn't weigh too much, but I just kind of want to go over that a little bit and feel the plate carrier, see how it works with everything else that I got. And besides, this isn't my only pack either. I've got a much larger 120-pound pack, but it's an old Alice pack, and I'm not into the Alice gear anymore. I really like this Molly gear. So you keep a couple weeks worth of good dehydrated food in there. 1 change of clothes. You don't need any more than that. Make it a good, depending on your area, but really most areas in the world get cold. So make it cold weather gear, because you can always take clothes off. You can never add, like, you can only add so much, and you can only carry so much. So make sure it's cold weather gear. You don't want stupid shorts in there or anything. That's ridiculous. You're going to be out in the wild. You want pants. You want something good. And I really, really recommend just go down to the Army surplus store. Pick up some old BDUs, you know. I actually just kind of kept all mine from when I was in the Marines, and it's that old pattern I was in when we didn't have the digital yet. So I have a good pair of cold weather in there. I have some other cold weather gear in there as well, like like kind of long john type stuff, you know, but polypros, anything like that works. It all works. The next thing I recommend is a good set of boots, you know, a really good set of boots. And they don't have to be super expensive. I mean, if you want something that's a really good kind of really high top, you want that combat boot style, and trust me, you do. You want that ankle support, because you don't want something that lets your ankle move when you're out there running around and you don't want to twist your ankle. That's the whole point of those really high-rise boots. That, and it prevents snake bites, all that kind of stuff. Well, I got myself a pair of Bates. They're not very expensive, but the side on them is a Kevlar-like material. It's got a composite toe in it, so it's a hardened toe. I originally got them for work, but when I started wearing them and walking around in them, they just felt so comfortable that I just said, you know what? I'm going to use these. So they've become kind of my everyday boots, and they only weigh 1.5 pounds each. So that's pretty good for big, heavy leather, cold weather, thin slit boots. You know, that's pretty good. And that's what you want. You want boots that are going to last through the cold weather. You want something that's going to be ready to go, not worn out. And I keep a pair that's broken really good, but they're just to that point where they're really broken. The inside of the shoe, my feet have kind of formed into that bottom, so you can feel where my toes normally sit when you put your hand in there, and that's what you want. If you go in and you grab a pair of boots and you're bugging out and you leave them in your closet and you've never broken them in, your first day is going to be hell, and your second day is going to be even worse. So I think we've kind of covered everything here I wanted to cover. And again, I'm sorry for the non-scripted videos and the terrible quality of this. I film it with my phone, you know. I'm not set up here yet, you know. I want to get these things out, and I do have an HD camera we're going to get set up here, and we're going to get set up to where we can do some really good high quality videos soon. Maybe even start scripting them. I don't know. I kind of like doing this as a whim, though. It's a little more fun. But like and subscribe. If you really like what we're doing, you can share all my videos you want. If you feel like you got questions, comment. I don't care if you put bad comments. If you want to criticize me, give me tips, add something to it. And like I said, I haven't covered everything here. I have more than this. This is a lot more. There's a lot more than what you see here, and you didn't even see me open that bag. So anyways, that's all for now, and we'll make a new one in the near future, and I'll probably get into really making a full-on ghillie suit here soon. I'll show you how to attach the different plant life to it, and maybe how to adapt something like this for most environments. And that's the cool part about burlap, because there's always brown in the environments, unless you're in the Arctic Circle, and I don't plan on being there. So, all right, America, we'll see you later. Bye.